how it's going to be. First of all, second of all, I lettered an 8-page story for Alan Moore, and the script was 24 pages long. And it was an 8-page story, okay? And it was a fucking 24-page script. I was like, how big, what is this? So Alan, when he writes scripts, because we're on a first-name basis, Mr. Moore,
Alan.
he comes up with these incredible descriptions. Like, it's just, it's crazy. And you're like, where's the actual line of copy in here that I have to put on the page?
Right.
But he will tell you the emotion of the person that is writing. So this way, that might influence either the font that you use, or it might influence the shape of the balloon that you use, or something like that. So, I mean, he's very, very specific. And also, like I said, V for Vendetta, I'm pretty sure they sat down together and said, this is how we're going to do this.
That thing was tightly done.
Yeah.
It was like it was a big collaborative process. Did you see the Alan Moore, like, lines? Is that what you're talking about? Oh. Well, holy shit, what happened? Oh, okay, we'll talk about it.
I'm going to jump in a second, like going back to the whole thing about having your hands and everything. I've never penciled, never written, I've never colored, but I was in production over at Marvel. Basically, I was the guy in the factory watching the sausage get made. It's actually how I learned how to letter. I took apart his pages.
You made sausage?
What?
That's it.
Took apart my pages?
I took apart your pages and figured out how you did it.
Oh.
I did it backwards for some reason. But I saw everything, and I also saw like schedules, timetables, people freaking out. I'm like, all right, I get an idea. This is how long it takes to do this, how long it takes to do that. And I got to the point where like, if I wanted to, I could get in there and be like a production manager or an editor, because I know how everything is supposed to go from one step to the other. So it's like, all right, 20 pages, you should have a month to do it. That should be plenty to draw it. Colorists were criminally like treated like, they get a week, they should probably get a month, to be honest with you. That's my opinion.
Colorists are treated almost as badly as letterers.
Probably worse. They have a heavier workload, they have to do it in the same amount of time.
Although a lot of times they farm out to flatters to help.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, but it's
Still.
costing them money.
yeah, it's costing them money.
Yeah.
It's still like, I don't know how long it takes to color a page, a couple hours maybe?
Depends.
I mean, still, you got the 22 pages, it's like
Yeah, it's a
over a
lot.
day. Was saying that? Yeah, but doing all that kind of taught me a lot of stuff, and you know, just there's many ways to figure out how everyone does everything, and
And people have different people have different like process.
absolutely. I was just gonna say that whole thing is what got me to saying to writers who was like, I don't know how you do what you do. It's like, letter one page once just to figure it out. You're probably gonna do it terrible. I'm not gonna judge you for it. You're gonna figure out what I go through every time I get a letter something. So I think that does help a lot.
I remember the first time when I was working on a Marvel book, the editor said to me, do a lettering pass. And I didn't know what she meant. I actually started lettering the book. And she comes back to me in about 4 hours and says, did you finish the lettering pass? I said, I'm only up to page 13. And she says, we really need it, Erica. And I'm like, okay. And so I sent her a PDF of what I had already done. And she said, what is this? And I said, it's a lettering pass. She goes, no, Erica. That's not what I need. I need a Microsoft Word document where you just say, page 1, panel 1, this is all the dialogue. She's like, you were lettering it. I said, yeah, that was a lettering pass. It's because I was used to lettering my own stuff. It was the first time I ever handed something off to be lettered. And I was appalled by it. Because I'm a control freak.
That gets a little bit to my next question, because I know Taylor has, you've lettered everything under the sun, right?
No,
Or
it's
Jake,
him.
a little bit, maybe the two of you combined. What are some common mistakes that the noobs make?
New letters?
Yeah.
Crossbar eyes.
Yeah, top of the list.
Oh, yeah.
Not understanding
down
how
for
sound effects
people.
work. Like, there's a lot of people who just think, oh, a sound effect. Here, I'll just put a bunch of letters together, and it looks so bad. It's like, when you're doing a sound effect, the idea is to get across the sound that it's making. You know, when doing this, it's a light tap. It's gonna be a little
Pick
loud
your
enough.
favorite.
Hey, it looks like a
Visual
little
aid.
bit.
Favorite onomatopoeia.
And I'm gonna be honest, this is gonna sound weird.
That's
as hell.
angry animal. We're like picking the fonts out.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's not start that.
Oh, when you guys are done, I just have a specific question about onomatopoeias.
Well, I was gonna say.
Okay, sorry.
The writer should technically be writing.
They should write
Mm-hmm.
them, but whenever I type the letter or sound effect, I will read what the writer wrote, I'll look at what it is, and I'll just sit there going,
CC Bitcoin.
bloop, trying to figure out what that font looks like. My wife looks at me like a crazy person, I'm like,
Well,
this
she's
is
looking
what-
at you like you're crazy.
well, I'm a crazy person no matter what.
Silly.
I got the comics, I'm crazy.
This is a great game. I should have done like, I don't know, if you like Font Jeopardy or something.
I was gonna say, that page looks really familiar.
This is
Oh, yeah, all of that? Yeah.
I was like, that looks really familiar.
Uh-huh.
What am I?
that's not whatchamacallit. That's
It's
not.
yada yada yada.
Yeah, it's yada yada yada. Do you prefer Lambots or Comcrafts?
It depends on what I'm working on. I actually, it's funny enough, because yada 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 is like the Batman font. When
That's
Rebirth,
funny because when I did the Batman with the 8 pages in Batman, they wanted mild mannered.
what were you doing, black and white?
I did Batman black and white, and then I did the Detective 27, and they wanted mild mannered, and Odyssey was done in mild mannered.
No, we were always using yada yada yada. That's
Batman.
You don't use Comic Craft, Joe. You wouldn't understand.
Comic Craft font.
But that said, when Rebirth started, everyone was like redoing stuff, and I wanted to get away from the house style. I developed an entirely new Red Hood style, and they were like, "Go back to the old one." I was like, "But this looks so much better."
But,
Can't do that.
I want to get into one of my favorite things, and this is one of those things that really made me kind of fall in love with lettering, is that I see a lot of letterers who will alter the style of the bubbles depending on the character. So what sort of dictates the design of each of those?
Well, monsters should have distressed balloons, like usually like dropout lettering. So black balloon with white type is usually for some like devious creature.
Like that.
Ghost
Yeah.
Rider.
Ghost
Although to be
Rider.
fair, I inherited this. I probably would not have made these choices if I didn't inherit this book.
I wouldn't have done red with black.
Yeah, well, that wasn't my choice. That was done by the
Yeah.
previous guy. I just improved it because wasn't that great?
I just wouldn't have done, red is one of those things where red is a very tough color.
Well, yeah, you really can't match it with almost anything.
You can't match it in terms of putting type. It's either the red is too dark for black type or too light for white type. Like red is like the worst color. When it, no, I'm just
No,
saying.
you're
like,
right.
For me, it's like the worst color. So if you do a red balloon and you do black type, the black might sort of bleed into the red and it looks muddy. Or if you do a red balloon with white type, the red might not be dark enough to make the white pop.
Well-
Like it really, it's kind of like, it's such a,
It's funny because sometimes the black and red kind of makes this optical illusion of a white line between them, and it drives me nuts. I'm looking at it like,
or do you use overprint when you're,
well, if I do a black balloon, I make sure it's,
overprint fill?
no, not just that, rich black. So it's not just black, it's all the other
It's
things.
not, see, that's the interesting thing, because I'm doing a book for Image, and I got a thing yesterday that says they don't want rich black, they want 100% K, and that's it.
That thing looks super dull.
I'm just telling, look,
No,
I'll
no,
send
it's-
you, I'll send you the PDF that I
I'll
got,
look
because
at it.
I was confused as hell by it. I was like, oh, okay.
If you guys couldn't letter your own work, who would you want lettering your work?
I'm not at this one.
Oh.
Not the, I'm not gonna say it.
Oh, come on.
She's saying she doesn't want you to let her.
Not Joe.
No, honestly, like, I like both of, I think you both have very distinct styles. And I like both of your styles, and for specific books, one would be good for one book and another would be good for another book, just because of the way your style lends itself to a specific genre or a specific look or action and things like that. So I would have either one of you guys. But I remember Neil wanted to hire you to do one of the books, and because you're with VC, so you can't. But but I wouldn't hire Taylor because
Neither would
What's your
I.
name?
Hold on, wait, explain,
no, I would.
because
No,
I haven't given him any
Because
cash
I
yet, no.
because I letter my own stuff for the most part. Like I got very spoiled, and I actually had an editor at New York Comic Con this year talk to me, and we were talking, and I said, I'm so frustrated that so-and-so lettered this story and blah, 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 and I really wanted to letter it myself. And he goes, you do realize that comics are a collaborative process, Erica. And I was like, oh, I know. And he's like, and you do realize that you have to let go sometimes. Yeah, I know, but, and he's like, so what happens? You're just gonna letter everything you ever do? Yes. And he's like,
I letter most of what I write, so
well, he
We
kind of
can't all be Joe Carmona.
he gave me
Yes, you
he
can.
gave me a bit of a side eye on it, so I was just like, all right, fine. Fine, I will relinquish control and the lettering will look fucking stupid.
Then just ask for me. I'll make it look however you want it to look.
I asked specifically to letter a specific thing for myself. I gave them my credentials. I told them that I had already lettered for this specific company, that I was already on payroll for it, and they said no. They wanted to give it to a new guy
So fucked up.
so he could earn his keep and
Oh
sort
my
of cut
God.
his teeth on it. I'm like, you're not cutting your teeth on my story.
You sure they didn't just want to be able to change stuff on you without you knowing about it?
They didn't.
Because that's
They-
usually why they won't want you to letter your own stuff.
No,
You
they were
want to be
actually
able to edit
very.
it after it's left your hands.
They were actually, but well, that's the reason why I've never
Yeah.
read that book that I told you, that book that I wrote that I've never read.
Ah.
Because
okay,
I'm
now I get it.
afraid of that, now you know. No, I
Who
mean.
lettered that book?
Um,
If you want to just tell me later, I'd be interested to know.
Just text
somebody,
us.
somebody who I appreciate his work,
Someone who can die in a fire.
but I didn't.
With common sense.
Damn.
Along with.
Along from him.
And papyrus.
And
Wait a minute,
papyrus.
it's probably someone I work with.
It is somebody you work with.
Ooh.
But no, I
I knew it was someone
We don't
I
have
work
to talk
with, but I
about
didn't
lettering
wanna-
anymore.
I just didn't, I like some of the work that he does on other books. I did not like the style choices that he made with that particular book.
Okay, I think I know what it is.